Voices of the Valley, Episode 8. I'm here today with Nick Stulga, Marine student. How you doing today, brother?
I am doing pretty good today.
That's
Just
good.
getting some stuff together with interviews and whatnot, like always.
Yeah. Yeah, we came up together in the journalism thing.
Sort of, yeah.
We did the media writing together, helped
Yep.
each other on a bunch of stories.
That class was really fun, actually.
That was a lot of fun. Yeah, so what started your interest in, news?
Well, it's kind of like pure coincidence because
Mm-hmm.
I had talked to my mom before my first semester at Moraine,
Mm-hmm.
and she kind of was thinking that, oh, your writing's really good, and I write some poetry, I've written a few short stories, and I've always been pretty good in English class
Mm-hmm.
with that kind of stuff. So she was saying, why don't you do something in writing? And so I talked to my the advisor lady, and she had that's the class she recommended for me because I was
Yeah.
thinking more towards like a journalism, path.
Yeah.
And she ended up selecting that class, and I was like, okay. I
Mhm.
just took what she said, and
Yeah.
I ended up really enjoying it.
So you like writing in general, like whether it be creative or newsworthy?
Yeah, I prefer like more creative, like
Yeah. I think as like
poetry.
young people, we all kind of prefer the creative way. you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's still really good to have like what I'm doing now, news, and like to be able to get out like some actual facts
Yeah.
to people and have people aware of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like I really find it a lot more entertaining to, kind of like delve inside and like what comes to mind, like
Yeah.
what's really in my head.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been listening. I really like music too, so that's
Yeah.
kind of why I like to do poetry. I can't play any instruments.
Yeah.
Kind of sucks, but
That's okay.
I actually have I have a keyboard at my house.
Mm-hmm.
I took lessons in like 2018, 2019.
Yeah.
And I quit after like 3 months because
It's
I
hard.
was getting so frustrated.
Yeah.
Like I learned all like the basics, and he would have me do like this thing like where it's like doon 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 doon
Mhm.
doon, and I was like, okay, this is easy. And then all of a sudden we started moving into like the entertainer, and I was like,
Yeah.
I cannot do this any longer. So I scrapped that, and I went back to it a few times, but
Mhm.
other than that, it's just kind of sat stagnant in my room.
Yeah.
But
I play a few instruments too. Like I play keyboard, I play guitar. The way I got started, that was kind of funny, kind of
oh
cringy.
really?
Yeah, I did it to impress a girl in high school. I started playing keyboard. I wasn't doing anything,
Mhm.
in high school. I did crew for drama. That was it. So like I built the sets for plays and
Oh,
stuff.
okay.
And there was this girl I liked that was in band. And I would always like go to the band class, and there's all these guys that are like killing it on instruments, and I was always like, oh man, how can I impress her? And then I told my parents I wanted a keyboard for Christmas, and the rest was history.
So how long did it take you to like really get into it?
Man, it took a long time. That keyboard sat for a while.
Yeah, that's how it's been with me.
Yeah, I've
far.
never went to go get lessons or
Uh-huh.
anything. I've always just done YouTube videos,
Okay.
But I know like some stuff, some songs. I know how to play Let It Be, a little bit of Hey Jude,
So the Beatles.
Yeah, my dad was a big like classic rock kind of
Mhm.
guy, and so like there's a lot of like old rock songs I know how to play too, but it's nothing crazy. I
You're
just
not like a virtuoso, like
No.
where you're like playing those.
Mm-mm. I just love
wild
music in general.
Moonlight Sonata.
Yeah,
or whatever.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. I've seen so many videos on YouTube of like. I was recently watching this one. It's this piece called Rush E. I don't know if you've heard about this, but it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's this YouTube channel does like these videos where it's like the keyboard and the notes hit, and
Yeah.
it shows where like the notes are coming in. And they did this one called Rush E, and it's supposed to be kind of like a joke because it's
Mhm.
impossible to play, and it progressively gets harder and harder to the point where like every single key on the keyboard is being hit.
Mm-hmm.
And I was watching a cover of it off of this video. It was like a YouTube drama video.
Mm-hmm.
In the comments, they were arguing back and forth about it, and this guy
Yeah.
finally put out his own rendition of Rush E, and it was
Mhm.
fantastic. And I was like, how can people do that? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe to some people it doesn't look too difficult, but instruments are hard.
Dude, it's weird because in a musician's mind, like a true professional,
Mhm.
you could hear something and be able to play it just off of hearing it.
Yeah, I know.
And it's just
Mhm.
it's crazy. Like
Yeah, playing by ear is just
yeah,
that's
it's true talent to like I don't know. It's a weird thing that goes on in the brain when like you get that sound and you can like transform it into your fingers or in a
Yeah,
physical way.
my mom she used to play keyboard and
Hmm.
or piano, and she took lessons for like 8 years.
Yeah.
And she said that, she can still recall like some things, but it's like over time she's just been like slowly and slowly forgetting. So she knows like a few like
Yeah.
of the really popular like little
Hmm.
pieces to learn techniques and stuff. But other than that, she's like, yeah, this
Yeah.
I'm
You have
still
to like
rusty.
keep at it in order to
Oh
keep,
yeah.
being
I mean,
great at
like
it.
pretty much almost everything else,
Yeah, honestly, like, but music is a crazy thing.
Yeah, I've been listening to recently. I've been doing this thing where, because I usually listen to music when I'm either coming to the
Hmm.
college or going to the gym or something.
Yeah.
While I'm driving, I'll put something on. And recently, I've been doing something where I've been just playing a whole album all the way through
Yeah.
and just like listening to different albums. And actually, like it's really interesting, like how like we just like a single comes out and we listen to that,
Yeah.
and there's so many other songs that just go completely discarded to
Yes.
most people. But when you like, there's a few projects that when you listen to all the way through, like it's like, wow, I can actually like listen to this and enjoy this and not want to like skip this. I
Exactly.
mean, it is hard to find an album
It's
like
like a
that.
more full experience,
It is, and
Yeah.
it really shows like it shows you like what was going on in the artist's mind, like the
Yeah.
creative process, and like how the instrumentation sounds, if it's
Hmm.
if it's lighter or if it's like really heavy or whatever. And I've been doing it with Radiohead,
Yeah.
which
That's a great
actually,
band to get started with.
yeah, I haven't listened to a lot of Radiohead. Obviously
Hmm.
Karma Police, Creep.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of Creep, but Karma Police, obviously, I do like that a bit more.
Hmm.
But yeah, I was listening to their album Kid A, um, and like there's some parts that like are kind of like the
Yeah.
same and kind of hard to get through. But for the most part, like it's like how do you think of this? Like
Yeah.
there, and what I notice about Radiohead is in their lyrics, they don't there's not very many lyrics, but the
Hmm.
lyrics they do write are obviously like you wouldn't know what they meant if you just listened to it a few times through, but
Yeah.
obviously there's some deeper meaning. It's like
Yeah.
that's tough to do. Like a lot of artists nowadays, at least, rappers and whatnot, are
Yeah.
writing everything they think about. It's hard
Yes.
to like narrow it down into like
Hmm.
those few things that you want to get across.
Exactly. Like I feel like in hip hop and stuff, it's more of like a stream of consciousness kind of thing, where you're just kind of saying the next thing that comes out.
Yeah.
But to write a really good song, in like a singing sense, you have to be very poetic.
Right.
It's hard to do. I mean, I've written poems and stuff, but I've never been able to translate that into music. It's hard to like bridge that gap.
Yeah, something I've noticed when like writing poetry, like, and I do a little bit of singing in my free time. At the gym, I'm not gonna lie, a lot
You
of
sing
people
at the
don't
gym?
like it. Yeah, a few people have come up to me, like, and it's been like two people have
Really?
come up to me and been like, "Can you quiet down?" I'm like, "Okay."
Oh my
But other
gosh.
than that, there's not like for the most
Sing
part,
your
people
heart
just
out,
let you,
bro. Sing your heart out.
people
Who
just let you
cares?
do your thing for the most part.
Yeah.
Which is nice. Like, I mean, that's how I get hyped and motivated for
Hmm.
my workout or whatever. But yeah, like I sing a little bit, but like what I've noticed is when I write a poem, like in my head, I can like sing it all the way through, but then
Hmm.
like I try to do it out loud, and it's like tough to like keep it
It's
in a
hard.
rhythm. I'm like,
Yeah. You
how
have
do
to
they do
know the
that?
melody, and it's a practiced like task.
Yeah,
You
it
have to
is.
keep going for it in order to make it sound good. And when I sing too, but I usually sing in the car
Uh-huh.
or in the shower. And I don't ever do it in public. I've never. I mean, I did choir, so I guess I did like do it on stage and
Right.
stuff. But that was with a whole group of people. I've never gone up. Do you do a thing? I like daydream whenever I sing a song, where I'm in a band and I'm on stage and performing it. Do you daydream like that?
Like I guess sort of.
Yeah.
Like I'm kind of well. Actually, what I used to do is I used to like the shower on the shower door.
Mhm.
It's like one of those that is like the glass fogs up so you can write on it.
Yeah.
And like so I would like I would like pretend like I was on the radio and like I would like write like my made up band name or whatever.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then I would write the song below it, and I'd pretend like I'd sing it and like pretend like I was on the radio. So like,
Do you remember any of the band names? I want to hear them.
it was just there was one. It was one name. It was
Yeah.
Grays. That was what I
Grace.
came up with, and it was always I would always be like, "This is the band Grays" or whatever, and this is my song, blah blah, and then I'd sing it, and then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've done that for a long time in the shower. I've
Yeah.
kind of stopped a little bit, but still like.
Yeah.
And I would like to like put out like music, but it's hard when you don't know how to play any instruments, you know. But yeah, like I still go on like my voice memo sometimes and just like record myself singing without anything in the background. And
Well,
sometimes
even
it
then,
comes out
start with
good.
covers. You know, start with just you singing over a song,
Yeah,
and then just cut out the vocal
I
part
haven't
of
thought
that
about
song.
that. That's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
To get started.
Exactly. That's what I've been doing.
Yeah, I think at some point, I'm hoping in the future I will like get the urge to actually pick up the keyboard and start playing. Because every once in a while, like it enters my mind again. I'm like, oh, maybe I should, play a quick, easy thing that from when I was taking lessons or whatever. See how fluent I really am. And every once in a while I do that, but it doesn't last very long. It lasts like 2 or 3 minutes and then I'm done.
Well, so I say start with, I don't know, if you take lessons, to me it feels like a chore. And when something starts feeling like a chore, I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
So I only really touch it when I really want to do it. And like, I mean, I want to do it all the time, so that's good. But I never want to like be classically trained. The only reason is because I don't want it to feel like a chore. I want my heart to be into it more than my brain. But I guess I'm going to move slower that way. But I guess that's the way I want to do it, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
What about you?
It was like the main reason I stopped, was because stopped going to lessons was it sort of did feel like a chore, and the instructor was, I don't know, it felt like we weren't really getting anywhere the way he was teaching me, and but yeah, I felt like I was just kind of in some parts of the lesson, like my mind would be completely out of it, like just dissociating from what I was doing. I was like, why is this not clicking with me? And he's like, you just have to take your time. You have to this might take a few weeks. But there were times when he would like be like, are you onto this? And I'm like, I didn't do my practicing for the week. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a big thing too, is the practicing.
I don't know.
I don't know about you, but for me, because I did like 3 lessons, I think, that I paid for out of my own pocket in like junior year of high school. And what was always so demoralizing was watching like a 6-year-old kid walk in there, and I hear him playing this grand fucking thing, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I walk in there and she's like, okay, play a C.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, there would be that too. When I was in there, I would like across the hall, or it was either across the hall or downstairs. There was like a downstairs section where they would do like the guitar, and then upstairs was like all the pianos. And at one point, like I would just hear like this like person just belting at the top of their lungs, like sounding great, and like playing these like crazy chords. I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be a long time coming for that.
Yeah, it was always part of me where I wish I started younger. But I mean, I'm young now, and if you want to start doing it, now's the time, because I feel like the further we get in our careers, the more we are gonna lose that time to practice that kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think not only like over time you lose, it's not that you're losing the time, but like the motivation like slowly goes away. Like it's been so long since I like tried this last, like what's the point of even doing this? So I mean, if I were to like actually get back into it, it'd have to be I can't like wait like 3 years, because at that point it's gonna be like I forgot about it. It's past me now. You have to like really get into it soon, so that, I don't know, you can actually like have, I guess it feels like you have a reason to do it instead of just brushing it off for that long.
Exactly.
So, but like that for me with like I swam all through high school.
Okay.
Minus junior year, and then like now that there's no team at Moraine, it's like
there's no swim team here.
There's no, and I mean they have a pool too, which was like I was like, what is
Moraine has a pool?
Yeah, they have a pool.
Where?
It's in the Fit Rec.
Really?
You go all the way to the right, I believe, like by the locker room.
Oh wait, I do know that they had a pool. I remember I tried using it one time and they kicked me out because there was like some class going on,
Yeah, I think that's
and I
the
never
only,
went back.
I think the only reason they have that pool is for like swimming lessons, but it would be nice to have like a swim team.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I remember like this was back last semester when I was using their gym a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and I like I like walked to use the washroom, and I was like, "There's a pool here? Like, there's
Mm-hmm.
people swimming in there? Where's the team? Like, come on!" Like, and so like I think swimming is going to be one of those things where it's like, again, like if you haven't done it for so long, you're just kind of, I feel like I'm just going to kind of forget about it.
Yeah.
Hopefully hopefully maybe I can get like involved in a team when I like transfer to a different school, wherever that may be. I don't know yet, but that would be nice. That would
Yeah.
be,
Have you kept up with it? Like, do you go to a pool and swim?
no, I don't.
You
So
know?
that's another thing. But like,
Mm-hmm.
because the gym I go to, they don't have like a pool or anything. They have massage beds, of course. Like
That's good.
most gyms have that. But
Not the same as swimming, but
it's not.
still.
Yeah, they don't have a pool. But the place I used to go, I used to go to the Tinley Park District, and
Yeah.
they have a pool there, and I used to really like that because I would do like a really quick, like, it was sort of structured like a practice where you do like 4 laps for a
Yeah.
warm up, and then you go into like kick sets and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But then when COVID hit, they started doing appointments for it. So I'm like, I don't want to deal with that. And then eventually they raised their prices to like $35 a month per person for the
Mm-hmm.
gym, and my dad was like, "Yeah, we're not doing this because of course I don't pay for it."
Yeah.
Which I don't mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was like, "Yeah, we're not doing this anymore." So now, initially I switched over to Planet Fitness, but then they got all mad at me for the masks because I would have it like a little below my nose.
Really?
And it was like the same girl,
Mm-hmm.
and she would always like nag me about it. She'd be like, "Put your mask up," and I'd put it up, and then it'd be a little down again because I would do like the stair climber. It's like it's so hard to do, especially cardio with a mask. Like
That's what made me stop going to public gyms.
I don't understand that. Like I can understand, I guess, like if you're benching or like doing something that's not as like intense, but cardio, and I've seen a few people even in the gym I go to now that like do cardio with a mask. I'm like, how are you not like about to like faint and like die inside?
Yeah, I remember I tried doing it like 3
Crazy.
times, and I was like, I'm gonna go buy some weights. I'm gonna lift at home,
Yeah, and especially Planet Fitness. I don't know if it's like this everywhere, but they don't have, the one I went to at least didn't have like a bench,
Mm-hmm.
like a normal bench. They had the Smith machine where it was
Yeah.
like the assisted,
The assisted
and
bench.
they also don't have a squat rack. So it's like, well, what am I supposed to do here? Well, there was the cables, there was the dumbbells, like the free weights or whatever, and then there was the stair climber, and I was like, oh, this is great. And so I actually, like, I lost a bit of weight doing that, and then following that, eventually I ended up getting a job at a nursery near my house, and like I was really Fitbit heavy from like in Christmas of 2020, my mom got me a Fitbit,
Mm-hmm.
and so from that, like from when I got it, I ended up paying $100 for this app that like tracks your steps and all that, and you can like
really?
post stuff to the community and stuff,
That's cool.
just to to hook up the Fitbit on it.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then like I was going crazy with that. Like if I didn't have 20,000 steps, I would go out like just walk around the neighborhood until I had 20,000 steps. And at the nursery, I mean, I was averaging like 30 to 35,000 steps a day, which is
Wow.
like an insane amount. So I ended up losing like 40, 50 pounds just doing that. And it was kind of, I feel like it was a little unhealthy at a point because I was down to like around 190 or so.
Yeah.
But I was really skinny, and I would just get really exhausted really fast. And eventually what ended up happening was like when it started getting into like the winter months, and it started raining, or I guess spring into winter, or summer into winter.
Yeah.
And it started fall into winter, my bad.
You're good,
and it started raining a lot. They would make me go inside the greenhouse and pull weeds all day, and I was like, I am not doing this. Like you're working me like a freaking horse.
Yeah.
Like, I am not going to pick weeds all day. and have you pay me like minimum wage. And I just thought that was ridiculous. So
Yeah.
eventually I ended up quitting there. And they all, another thing they would make me do is they would have me go out with these other people in like a big truck.
Yeah.
It was like a big pickup truck, and they would load plants to plant at people's houses. So like giant trees, and so there were some smaller ones, but for the most part, it was these really big trees. And they would make me go with, and it was so exhausting, like trying to get that big thing off. First, you would have to get it like off the truck somehow. So they would usually put like a tire down, and then they would just drop it onto the tire, and then you'd have to like get it up on the cart and push it over, and then you'd have to like get it into the ground, and it was just really tiring. I'm like, overall, it was not worth it anymore. So I ended up quitting. Like there was a few days I had breakdowns in like the bathroom where I was like,
it doesn't sound like a good job.
It was not.
It's weird because I would, on my way to my warehouse job that I used to work at, I would pass a nursery, and passing it, I would always be like, man, I always wanted to work at a nursery. Or like like, you know how we have all these forest preserves here? I've always wanted to be on the forest preserve thing because I've always loved nature.
Right.
I love being outside. I love camping. That's like my vacation. I always go camping.
Yeah.
I've been pretty much all over the Midwest
camping. The nursery, it wasn't terrible at first because, at first, there was a lot of people tipping, and I mean, I think at one point I got like there was like people consistently putting in like $20 tips. And what we would do was there would be like all the bags of rock, and if a customer would order, a certain amount of that rock, we would load that many bags into their car, and every once in a while they would tip us. And at first, like it was like $20, $10 at a time.
Was that split between all of you or just you?
Whoever would load it in.
Yeah.
So if there was 2 people loading in, we'd split it. Otherwise, I could just keep the whole thing.
Still, that's an extra $10.
Yeah, it was really nice. And there, I was averaging like $50 a day in extra tips on top. I was like, this is kind of worth it. And then as things started going on, like that just stopped. Like people stopped tipping, and there were customers that were getting mad at me for like, because the one customer was like, why are you better not throw that into my car. I'm like, what do you want? Like, there's like, you ordered like 15 bags. Like, I got to do this quick.
Carry
like,
it all to your house.
I'm not going to like slowly like just like lift it in there and like take my sweet precious time. Like, come on. And so, that was another part of it.
So like, it's like half customer service, half physical labor, and it's just not a good combo.
It just did not end up working very well.
Exactly.
And another thing, the last thing that I really did not like was when they made me change out the signs on the marquee or whatever. And oh my goodness, like it was so high up, and I was like, the first time I ever tried doing it, the ladder was like tilting, and I was near the top of it. I was like, today is not a good day to die. Not a good day to die. So
I used to have to do that when I worked for White Castle, because White Castle would have a sign, and that's right next. I worked at the one in Bridgeview, and so it was right next to Harlem, and I was on a ladder right next to Harlem, and I was changing like our deals. Like, hey, we got the black bean burger back. Worst job I've ever had, easily.
Yeah, no, the nursery is right off of the one I was working on was right off of Harlem too.
Yeah.
So that was a little scary too, but like after I did it that first time and it was wobbling, like every time they would ask me to do it, I would like freak out. And this one time, one of the people, my I guess coworkers, was he like offered to do it, but after that it would be me to do it every time. And eventually I got like comfortable a little bit with doing it, so it was like not that big of a deal. But like when I was like younger, I guess.
Yeah.
I had a little bit of like a fear of heights, but I feel like that's gone away quite a bit. But obviously not completely, because I returned there and I was like, oh God, Jesus, like don't let me fall.
Yeah, that definitely killed my fear of heights, was doing that. Definitely.
So.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, I think that's a good spot to end off.
All right.
Thanks for coming on today, Nick. It was great talking to you.
You too.
All right.